right, it's hour 4 of Inside the Birds live from Radio Row on our third day here, and we bringing a really special guest. First of all, Geoff Mosher Adam Caplan, and our special guest to lead off the hour, former NFL wide receiver. He played for the Bengals, played for some other teams too, correct?
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember Seattle. I remember that, but he is TJ Houshmandzadeh. TJ, welcome to Inside the Birds, my friend.
Appreciate you guys.
Now, you made a prediction. You want to tell us all about this prediction that you
I
made?
wouldn't say it was a prediction.
No.
No, prior to the season, I picked the Eagles to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Good
and
call.
This was documented. And the reason for that was in the summer, when I trained my guys, Jalen Hurts actually was out in Southern California. And I just liked the way he approached things. And what stuck out to me was it was guys he didn't even know. And he literally was coaching them up. Like it was like natural leadership. Okay, you should probably do it this way and try. And I'm like, you're never going to play with these guys. And he was so attentive to the way he was telling these guys how to do things. And he didn't even know these dudes from a can of paint. And I felt like if he made that jump, which I thought he would, the Eagles would have a really good season. And so I picked him because of what I saw in Jalen Hurts during the summer.
I consider that a prediction. And I think that you deserve credit for that. You saw something in it.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have a good team. And so much revolves around the quarter. He does, and I don't like when people try to discredit, oh, man, they have a really good team. I don't give a damn if you have a good team. There's a lot of good teams that are at home. Like, you can have a good team, but it has to mesh. It has to work. And somebody has to be that leader to keep everybody on the same page.
TJ, what I've said about Jalen Hurts is this. Yes, he has a good roster around him. But guess what? The throws he's making this season, he wasn't making last season. You got to execute, man. Here's the play, run it. And he's running it really, really well.
Adam, don't all the good teams have good players around them?
Good teams?
No, the good teams. I thought you meant all good. Okay.
No.
Like, does Patrick Mahomes have good players around him?
Not as good as the Eagles do, but okay.
I mean, his offensive line is very comparable to the Eagles.
Yes.
Yeah,
his
Eagles is better.
End, his receivers aren't comparable to the Eagles, but every other position, like the Chiefs have a good team.
Right.
And so they try to discredit Jalen Hurts by giving credit to everyone else when I don't believe that's fair because last I checked, the games that Jalen Hurts is playing, did they win?
They did.
His record's really, really good. No, it's really, really good.
Yeah. That right there shows you how important he is to the team.
Sure.
As good as this team is, when he didn't play, they didn't win.
All right. By the way, hour 4 here of Inside the Birds on Radio Row Live is presented by Sim City. Can we talk a little bit about the wide receivers? That's your position. This game, you got a bunch of really good ones. Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. When they traded for A.J. Brown and you pair him with Devontae Smith, we've been talking about the difference of their skill sets and how they complement each other. Is that something that you see?
AJ is just a big dude. Devontae is
a little dude.
He's a light dude, meaning in weight. I mean, good height on him. It's there are different players. Devontae, he has great hand-eye coordination. And you think, oh, he's so frail and thin. Not afraid of contact, really tracks the ball. He does a really good job of tracking the ball, and that kind of gets overlooked. Does a good job of decelerating, which not a lot of guys teach, and a lot of people don't know about that. That's the key to getting open, is being able to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, Jalen Hurts just gives guys a chance to make a play. Throw you a 50-50 ball, can you make a play? But the Eagles receiver is by far, in a way, better than what the Chiefs have in this game. No disrespect to the Chiefs receiver.
For sure. For sure. When you were with the Bengals and you had some offenses were off the hook great with you and Chad and others, but when you've been around great quarterback play, when your quarterbacks are playing at a super high level, what kind of trait did they have?
To me, the biggest thing is, I really believe this, is can quarterbacks throw with anticipation? Like, I may not be open, but you know I'm going to get open. And if you wait, I'm not open. You got to be able to anticipate me coming open and kind of let that ball go and just have faith that I'm going to get open. And that's what it is. It's the best quarterbacks. They let that ball go when you're not open, knowing you are going to get open, and they can anticipate that aspect of the game. And those are the best quarterbacks. They throw with anticipation.
Throw them open.
Was Andy Dalton? I feel like that whole Bengals team with you.
I didn't play with
Coach
Andy.
No, it was
that's
Carson.
right.
Carson.
Carson.
I was fortunate
Right.
enough where I had Carson Palmer, who
Right.
I believe was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. He'll never go down as that, but the way he was as a player, talent-wise, and I've been on the field with Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. I've been on the field with the best of the best quarterbacks. They couldn't throw the ball like Carson.
Yeah, in fact, John Filippo told me. John was the former Raiders quarterbacks coaching at Carson for 1 year. He said he's never seen anyone throw the ball like that.
Man, I'm telling
He
you,
said
man.
super special. He said without the injuries, you might have been talking about one of the top 10 passers in NFL history.
Carson was not only was he a really good player, great dude. Like Carson is such a great person. But dude was play quarterback. If you can mold a quarterback, Carson Palmer, he's big. Like Carson didn't run, but Carson was a good athlete. Carson could kind of run if he wanted to. Played against Carson in college. He threw a pick on like the 5-yard line and caught our safety on the opposite 20. And so I was fortunate enough to play with Carson. Lucky enough, I would say, but quarterbacks in this game, the game is played differently now. It's just a different day and age, the way they play football. Concepts are still the same. They just get to it a little different.
Right. I mean, that was a very good Bengals team, right? Carson got hurt in the playoffs. Was it
Kimo von Alhoffen? Yeah.
First play of the game.
Yeah.
First play of the game.
Yeah. It's a shame in that. But you've seen it, though, when things are going really well, when quarterbacks are in a zone, what do you see when your quarterback is playing at elite level? What does it look like?
It's as if that throw where they're like, oh, good throw. It just, everything seems to go their way. And a lot of it is football is such a complimentary game, man. Like, that's why it's the best game in the world, because it's 11 players relying on each other. If I fuck up, can I curse?
You
No.
can. It's the
Okay, I'm
internet.
sorry.
It's all right. It's the internet.
If I mess up as a player and I'm being relied on, the play probably doesn't work. If this left tackle misses his block, the play doesn't work. If the quarterback throws the ball, the play doesn't work. If the back doesn't pick up protection, it doesn't work. So everybody has to be on the same page. And it's 11 guys counting on 11 guys. That's what makes football the best sport in the world, because you rely on so many other people that have to do their job. It sucks that the credit, for the most part, goes to 2 or 3 guys on every team, but it's such a complimentary game.
Jason Avant said that he learned by watching you some of the way you ran routes. Who are guys that you look at and say, right now, these are the premier technicians at wide receiver? They are the route runners in this league.
I will say this. The receivers that come into football now they're so much better than what we were.
Really? Route runners?
Yeah.
Talent.
Guys, like I have a son that's 9 years old. He's training with NFL guys right now. I didn't meet an NFL guy till I got to the NFL. And so I say, like, I don't work with a lot of high school kids, but if I do, I bring them with my NFL guys.
Wow.
And so these kids at a younger age are being exposed to the best in the world. And so they come in with a skill set that we didn't come in with. Now, maybe they take some of that for granted where we had to work a little harder, but the receivers now, like Devontae Adams, he just understands how to create separation. I hate going to him because everybody goes to him.
Sure.
But he's a really good player. But there's a lot of good players that we don't know about. They don't get the opportunity. But if you, like Tyreek Hill, everybody talks about because he's so fast. But Tyreek Hill can decelerate and stop. That's why he's good, because he can stop when he wants to stop. And there's just a lot of good receivers in today's game. Justin Jefferson, he does like Justin Jefferson, he doesn't stop as well as those guys. But what he does is he moves laterally so well without losing speed. You don't know what he's doing. Like, it's just really, it's hard to, like, he's the only guy in the league that can do this. And you just, nobody else can do it. And it's just a special trait that he had. Like, Chase is strong. Like, you'll get hands on Jamar Chase, and he'll power right through that. And you're like, don't give up your chest. Oh, you're strong enough. Go ahead. It works for him.
You just brought up Jamar Chase, but we got to talk about Joe Burrow. What are your thoughts on him so far?
Joe trained with us getting ready for the combine.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, he didn't say a word to many people, man. I was around Joe for months. And it was, hey, TJ, how you doing? That was it every day. And so he was just so focused,
cool.
man. Yeah. He is just so accurate. But what Joe believes in himself like no other. His confidence is through the roof. And to be a really good player, you got to have that self-belief, because when adversity hits, that doubt that creeps in, that self-confidence takes it out of there. He just really believes in himself. He believes in his teammates, but he's extremely accurate. Very rarely do you see a quarterback come in and have the type of pocket presence that he has at such an early stage in his career. I believe Joe's the best quarterback in the league. People will say Patrick Mahomes, but for Joe to overcome what he's overcome, going to the Bengals, being the first pick, he's starting the basement level. He's the first pick for a reason. The Bengals were bad. And to be this good, this fast, you got to give him that
And it
credit.
wasn't like he started a ton of games in college. We forget.
And Joe's a prime example of he was fortunate enough to be put in a situation. Joe Burrow would be a regular working guy had he not gone to LSU. He wasn't good enough to play at Ohio State. It's crazy how things work.
I know.
No, he is the one. There's a lot of great quarterbacks in the league, but he's the one.
I mean,
and there'll never be another Tom Brady, but he's the one that everybody always says reminds him of that determination and that laser focus and the ability to just.
I don't like the comparisons. I mean, Tom Brady was
right. They'll never
199. Joe was one.
Yeah.
So everybody, I mean,
right. No, I think that they talk about his focus and his drive that you were talking about.
It's like Joe was the first pick for a team that has the first pick for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys have done this a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a quarterback that was the first pick and elevated his team this fast. Just give me one.
Usually
this fast.
This fast.
Greg Cosell, could you think of one?
Marino? I don't know.
I mean, just
Andrew?
think about that. Like, you can't think
Marino's
of
a good one.
That
was he the first? I don't know. Overall,
has elevated his team in such a short period of time. Now, he has really good receivers.
He does.
But the Bengals always have good receivers. He's done a hell of a job playing for an organization that has historically been bad. They're no longer historically bad, and it's because of him. He deserves more credit for that than anything else. The first pick, and they're going deep into the playoffs every year that he's not hurt now. It's amazing.
So what do you got going on this week on Fox Sports Radio?
We'll do our show tomorrow. Myself, LeVar, and Plexico.
What time? Do you know?
Well, we're in Arizona, so 10 to 12.
Okay.
9 to 11 Pacific time, 12 to 2 Eastern time. We do our show, man. I love football. It's giving me everything I've ever had. I'm talking to you guys because of football.
It, man. Love it.
And so, yeah, football is a game that I love. I get upset, when I watch games and I want a team to win.
You seem like the guy who's screaming at the TV or like, why didn't they do that?
No, I just feel like if we're watching a game and we realize that a call is wrong and everybody knows it's wrong and they don't change it, just change the call. Who cares how you got the information to change the call? Let's just get it right.
Yes.
Guys put too much into this to lose a game where you feel like you got cheated. And nobody's purposely trying to cheat, but you feel that way as a player and as a fan, which I am now.
There you go. Well, Fox Sports Radio, anything else that you got going on? Do you have a podcast, Twitter handle?
No? You ain't got to appreciate it.
We so appreciate it, man. We really
You're the best, man. Thank you so much.
I got the Eagles winning, by the way.
I like that, man.
The Eagles winning.
What's the score?
You do.
I don't care about the score. They're going to win. But if I had to pick, I would say 27-23.
Why are they going to win? Real quick. Why do you think so?
I just believe they're the better team.
Better team. Okay.
They're the better team.
Got it.
Chris Jones is
he's a beast,
the playmaker on defense for the Chiefs.
You got to worry about that.
The problem with that is I haven't seen the Eagles get manhandled up front.
Nope.
And so until they get manhandled, I got to go with the team that is stout on both sides of the ball up front.
Got it.
TJ, appreciate you.
Thanks so much, man.
Really, really thank you for
Appreciate
coming by.
Yeah.
All right. Have a
Dreams and nightmares, huh?
Well, that's 2017. I think
Yeah,
that
man.
this
What's
team is
the-
trying to have its own identity.
He's a salsa dancer,
I
man.
don't know about that one, man.
Oh,
Take care.
man. Take care.
Thanks,
You
man.
can leave that there. Former Bengals wide receiver
That's
TJ
That's great.
Houshmandzadeh. That was awesome.
So,
That's
so
fantastic.
lucky.
And
This
now,
is incredible, man. I don't know what to say.
yeah, live from Radio Row.
Yeah.
Here we are. That's our last hour, and we were able to get TJ Houshmandzadeh. Now, I'm still trying to get.
Adam Pac-Man Jones, come look at Bengals reunion, man. Andrew Hawkins.
Oh, yeah, that's
What's up, man? How are you?
Best
Good to see
friend
you, man.
now.
How are you?
Andrew Hawkins here.
Hawk.
We are trying to get to Keo Spikes. Now, I walked over
Want me to go get him?
a few minutes ago to remind him, and he had Emmett Smith on his show. But I think they're done now. And if we could get him, that would be fantastic because I've been promising our audience to try to get him.
Is he behind that?
Yeah, he's behind the white banner there. All right. While we do that, let me take an opportunity now to tell everybody about Sin City. Make it an Eagles win either way this Super Bowl Sunday at Sin City Cabaret on Passyunk Avenue. It's Philly's premier hotspot, and they're giving away an incredible 65-inch LED 4K TV. Anyone and everyone who comes out for their $5 beers and $2 2-for-1 bottles is eligible to snatch it up. Claim the best seat in the house with the prettiest girls in town. It's a Super Bowl party like no other. And if you head over before halftime, admission is free. Sin City Cabaret, 6130 Passyunk Ave. It's a Philly thing. Wow, that was really good stuff there.
This has been also a football education, life stuff. I know.
This is a broadcast
Yes,
education.
education. Yes. This really been with Ryan Leaf and Jim McMahon. My God, I almost started crying yesterday. I was like so moved.
Yeah.
Ryan was unbelievable. What a story. He's been turning around his life. And Jim McMahon with brain challenges and so forth, and taking cannabis, his movement.
Yes.
And then obviously with Avant, Barrett Brooks, TJ Houshmandzadeh. What other? We've had so many players. I can't. You know the list.
Oh,
the host.
We had, like you said, we had Tori Smith on today.
Tori Smith was phenomenal. B West, right?
B West. Ross Tucker earlier in the show. So I mean, earlier. In the,
Jeff Schwartz was awesome.
Jeff Schwartz is great. Jeff Schwartz is wonderful. I think we did a good
Brett
job
Cosell.
of getting different. Brian Baldinger.
Baldy, yeah.
Different perspectives, guys who play different positions. You hear TJ Houshmandzadeh talking
Clay
about
Harbor.
the wide receivers.
Yep.
Yeah, Clay Harbor, who talked about the tight ends. We had offensive linemen, we had running backs. So we've gotten everywhere. We have coaches, and we have tape breakdown guys like Greg. So you really can't ask for more when you come here.
We're very lucky. We appreciate the support. It's been overwhelming. Oh, very cool things. We went to Ron Trubisky's party last night, his cigar party, and to say there were at least 24 people came up to us to listen to the show would be an understatement.
Oh my God.
It was kind of overwhelming. We were like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that was really nice.
There was God, what was his name? One guy, Gilbert, I think was his name. If you're watching, he wanted me to do a video for his kid. It was wonderful. And by the way, he's got this great room where he's got an Iverson jersey, Andrew Toney jersey.
Wow.
The Sixer. Yeah, it's very cool. It's super cool, man.
So
Super
someone who has Allen Iverson and Andrew Toney posters on their room also wants to hear you wish them a happy birthday.
What a letdown. Yeah. I get it. I'm a schlep.
That reminds me of the time. I have maybe gotten 1 or 2 autograph requests in my life, especially when I was at Comcast Sports.
Where do they think you
TV anymore?
No,
I know, right? One time somebody came up to me in a Chick-fil-A and said that his father was a huge fan of my work. And would I mind signing an autograph? Now I'm there. I have nothing on me, no backpack. I said I'd be happy to do it. I just don't have a pen on me or any paper. And neither did this kid.
Oh, no.
So he literally rips off the top of a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich lid container and finds a pen. And it's there. You could still see.
I think he said he did with ketchup.
No, but you did see the grease spots and the crumbs. And asked me to sign.
Ridiculous. I love it. It's funny.
It's really
It's hilarious.
for anybody.
No, I've always said
Chick-fil-A
take a
container.
picture. I'd rather not. Why would you want an autograph? Just take a picture.
Yeah,
that lasts longer.
Well, I think this was. I mean, there were iPhones out, but it wasn't. This was like a good 8-9 years ago, so it was still before every single thing you did was documented on cameras. You want to come back in and check?
Oh, did we get the Ed Kelsey up yet?
That is a great question. I'm Jimmy Hyden, who has been doing an unbelievable job producing for Public Square Media, helping us out here. I would ask him to send us a text message to let me know if we can run the Ed Kelsey video or if because there may have been some issues with it. So
Okay.
if we can, we will run it. If not, we'll try to fix it up and either might have just a sound only version or whatever, maybe for our Patreon people we can get it on. And speaking of that, Adam and I are going to be doing a Ask ITB live stream right from here in Radio Row once we're all done doing that. We're gonna do an
5
Ask
o'clock,
ITB.
yeah. I mean,
It's
7
starting
o'clock.
at 5 o'clock here, so it'll be 7 o'clock
Eastern.
East Coast or
Awesome.
whatever time zone you're in. Adjust
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
We're doing it at
Yeah.
5 o'clock Mountain Time here.
Can't wait. This is gonna be cool. Now, we can't kill the background noise. You're gonna hear it all. We have to be able to hear them, but it would be pretty cool. We'll give you the ambiance. fact. What an awesome banner behind us.
It is, except for the fact that they chose
I
Juju
know,
Smith-Schuster
know.
to go along with Mahomes. I don't, and I got nothing against Juju. I'm just saying you got Jalen Hurts and
Why not
Kelsey.
Kelsey? Why not the
wouldn't you have
Kelseys?
Mahomes and Travis Kelsey or Mahomes and
There's a multitude of options you could go with.
Yeah, there's a
Juju
lot
would not
of
be one
I
of them.
mean, I would have gone with DeCheco. I mean, come on, man.
how many people do you think you can know? That's which one? Not did you say
For Juju.
Did you say Pacheco?
No,
DeCheco?
DeCheco.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Just
I
making
thought
sure.
I wanted to make sure.
See that than Juju. Come on, man.
How many people do you think know that number 9 on the Chiefs is Juju Smith-Schuster?
I mean, we know, but I don't think that the general concern. I don't think that they're gonna
No.
know.
Who would have been an obvious number 2 if not Travis Kelsey? That's
Uh,
number 1. That's their obvious number 1.
Well,
Chris Jones, maybe
Chris Jones, right? Maybe Frank Clark.
Frank Clark.
There's a lot of options you could go with on
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah, I just find that interesting. All right, I do have a message for our normal podcast listeners. So, unbeknownst to us, our podcast was set today on private, so it was not dispersed out.
Oh,
I fixed that
Oh.
recently. So, if you're wondering why there
Okay,
was a
okay,
delay,
cool.
now in case this ever happens again, you don't realize you can always see the podcast
Butterfingers.
on YouTube. I guess so. I don't know how I managed to do
You're a
that.
human. I get it.
But
We
yeah,
all are.
I don't know how it happened, but it is up now. And as we start to close out hour 4, we are trying to wait for one more interview if we can get. Did you like the TJ Houshmandzadeh?
Dude, that was great, man. And
He's very passionate about what he was talking about.
yeah, he's very passionate and super knowledgeable.
Yes.
We're efforting Malcolm Jenkins. We'll see. We're not promising. We're trying to.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
trying.
worth it. Now, is that Marcus Smith over there, former Eagles?
Oh
outside
yes, he's
linebacker
doing
Marcus
some mental
Smith?
heall stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would be great if he wanted to sit down with us, but he
The
looks
book bag
busy.
on.
With the his hair pulled back
Yeah.
and the backpack on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's former Eagles outside linebacker
Yeah.
Marcus Smith. Yeah.
I
Sure.
think that would be a powerful interview.
Right. Now, Jimmy Hyden tells us that the Ed Kelsey
Yeah.
interview is probably going to be an audio only. So there
Okay.
must have been some
That's
transmission
fine as
issues
long as
in
it's
it.
clear audio.
Yeah.
Because I must run. I'll be
Okay.
back.
All right. We will finish this off without you.
Thank you.
All right. Adam Caplan wants to go.
Pac-Man Jones would have been a good one.
That would have been a great one. I was
He's
sort
around here, right? Is he to your?
the Pac-Man is around.
He was literally just with Hawk and TJ and like the little Bengals reunion.
Oh,
he
little
was
Bengals.
hanging out there for a little bit.
That was a good Bengals team. Sort of an overlooked Bengals team. I know they didn't win the Super Bowl or
Well,
anything.
actually, I started to really like the Bengals coming up because of TJ and Chad and Carson Palmer, Rudy
right?
Johnson.
Oh, Rudy Johnson.
Remember
Yeah.
him? And
Yeah.
like, they were a team that were always really fun to watch.
Sure. Yeah. No, they were a really good team. And we're going to be able to do it. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Here, come have a seat. We're really thrilled about this to join
Yeah, this is gonna be
former
great.
Eagles outside linebacker Marcus Smith, who's going to join us. How you doing, Marcus? Good. I'm Geoff Mosher. This is Andrew DeCheco. You might remember me because I cover the Eagles, but I don't know. I mean, well, nameless
How you doing,
faceless
Marcus?
people.
Andrew
Andrew
DeCheco, nice to meet you.
DeCheco, grab that thing for us. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just out here, Super Bowl, doing a lot of different things. Obviously, I do a lot with mental health, so
Right.
that's my big thing now. So, yeah, just trying to push that message forward. Want the guys to continue to be vulnerable and speak up about their mental health.
Yeah.
man.
What is the message when you talk about it that you tell to people?
Man, I mean, for me, like I have a foundation. It's called the Circle of Them, but then I started working with NAMI, which is I'm an ambassador for their organization now. And the message for us is to continue to speak about vulnerability. Don't be afraid to speak up, because I was going through something in 2018 at a suicide intervention. Basically, I got 2 chances, and I was able to go get therapy and actually get the help that I needed. So I want guys to, even when they transition out, even when they're playing right now, I think that they should get the help that they need and not feel like they can't do that because of the sport that we play. Obviously, we play a barbaric sport.
Yes.
But you know, there is a strength in vulnerability.
How much of this experience for you, mental health awareness, what you went through that you just said about suicide, stems from your time with the Eagles, which had to been difficult for you, or does it even predate that? And did you always know that it did or did not?
Man, so before that, you know, I always dealt with anxiety at some point in my life, but the magnitude of, you know, what I had to do when I was in Philly, it went up by a lot, right? The ask of me and the things of that nature, it was just a culture shock for me. You know, I was immature. I was in a place of just trying to become the best athlete that I can, but also trying to, you know, appease the fans, the coaches, and I just forgot all about myself, right? And you know, you have to take care of yourself before you can be the very best football player that you can be and do the things that you need to do. And I think that kind of like stemmed going into Seattle. I actually had signed a 1-year deal with Seattle, which was like $2.7 million deal, one year deal. And it was a deal with them saying basically, if you do well, we'll extend you in the middle of the year. And I never addressed those issues. I never addressed anything that I went through when I was with the Eagles. I didn't think about therapy. I didn't think about any of that. And so it just came to a head. Like once I got there, then I walked away from the game at that point in time, and I got the help that I needed. And I've just been on this journey of healing ever since.
Marcus, you alluded to this already, and I believe you wrote a really powerful piece in the Players Tribune a few years ago. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like being a first-round pick in Philadelphia and having to live up to expectations and some of the pressure? Obviously, Philadelphia is a really tough place to do that as you sort of develop as a young player.
Man, so yeah, it was a culture shock for me. Like I said before, it was very hard. It was a very hostile environment with an organization and fans who wanted to win, right? And you know, I just got caught in the middle of everything, just trying to be a better player, wanting to be a better player. You know, I wasn't playing my best, but I think that through that, it kind of made me who I am. You know, I got to really see and develop thick skin, right? Because you know, and being in Philly, you have to develop thick skin. And I had people around me to kind of like keep me sane. And I had BG, you know, I had Fletcher, I had you know, Trent Cole my first year. So I had people there to help me along. But you know, the true help, you know, I had to, you know, go get some help myself and actually, you know, talk through those moments in Philly where I didn't do so well and not beat myself up so much. Just, you know, and I want people to understand, players to understand, like, hey, you've made it to an NFL, and that's not the end all be all, right? You made it there. There's more work that has to be done, and it's okay to have mentors around you, and it's okay to speak your piece and be vulnerable about that.
How long did that take to acknowledge that it's okay to not be okay?
Man, it was almost too late, right? I alluded to that. You know, with the story that I wrote in the Players Tribune about the suicide thing, it was almost too late. And I didn't realize it until I got to the bottom of the hill, right? And I had just tried, you know, 2 suicide attempts. I just tried it. And then, you know, my mother-in-law, my wife called first, and then my mother-in-law called me second, right? And by the time I was done talking to my mother-in-law, I was at the bottom of the hill, right? And that's when I actually realized that, yo, I got a problem. Because I was safe. It clicked to me. And then when I went into the Seattle Seahawks facility, I was talking to them and I told them, hey, man, I just want to take my mental health seriously. And I'm going to have to step away and actually do some healing myself. And that's when my healing journey started. And I've been doing that ever since.
Awesome. Marcus, Brandon Brooks, who played right guard for the Eagles,
Yep.
he did a lot, I believe, for the movement to make awareness about anxiety and mental health. He was outspoken about it when it happened. I feel like other players in the NFL also started to speak about it. And I think now, while there probably is still a lot of work to be done, there's more conversations that like we're having right now. But I ask, with that known, there's always going to be first round picks who don't play well.
Right.
There's always going to be fans and tough media who have to report that and discuss, or fans who get upset about that.
Right.
So how does, without that probably never changing,
Right.
what is it you tell athletes to be able to do besides just get help? Like, what exactly do you tell them, knowing that we live in maybe a static environment with how the reaction's always going to be to sports,
Right.
to results, to winning and losing?
Man, I would say stay true to yourself, right? You are there for a reason, right? Remember that you're there for a reason. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, you're going to have days where you don't have your best practice. You're going to have days where you don't have your best game, right? We have to be human first, because I think that fans and the people, the general public, they want us to be these words. They want us to be perfect all the time. Then you got, the bets and everything like that. You got, fantasy, right? So they want the players to play well each and every week. But in reality, that's not realistic, right? And so if you can go into it with the mindset like, hey, like I'm here for a reason. I'm going to stack every day. That's like Kobe said, right? Kobe talked about like putting one foot in front of the other. So I would tell them to put one foot in front of the other, have a team around you, like get with one player or a player that, like for me, it was BG, right? Everybody knows BG is just a light of the world, right?
Absolutely.
Get with a player like that can kind of like help you grow, right, as an individual first, because if you can learn to be a good individual, that can help you on the football field. And we always do things like backwards, right?
Right.
We do the physical first and then the mental, right? But if we can change that around and get players to actually do something about their mental first, it doesn't have to be therapy, but therapy could be in the form of you actually being able to go out with your teammates and just, have a conversation with them.
Right.
So doing that first, that's what I would tell most players, man.
Social media, I think, makes this conversation so difficult. I mean, back in the day, if someone's getting ripped apart on sports talk radio, you don't listen to the radio, you don't hear it. But now with social media, everybody's on it. You have to be on it. People get information and news from it, and it's almost unavoidable if you're an athlete to see what people are saying. You don't even have to be an athlete; just anyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of hateful stuff out there.
Man, it's hard. Man.
I don't know how that part of the conversation, which is such a big, in my opinion, big part of the conversation, changes.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a hard thing because we're all on social media. This is how we interact, right? And the best possible thing that I could think of when I was going through that, when I would see all the comments, I would see all the things that they would say, I'm like, dang, man, this how they feel about me. You start believing it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of actually going in the next day and be like, you know what, I'm gonna prove myself right first. And then that, along with that, it'll come with proving everybody else wrong. But what I did was I kind of sat there and I looked at it, and it kind of made me depressed because I started feeling like I was that, you know what I'm saying? I was drafted for a reason. I didn't take that mentality. And so when I got cut from the Eagles and went to Seattle, I had an opportunity to go back with my college coach, which was Clint Hurd. He's the D coordinator there now. And I got to revamp my career a little bit and kind of get back on the right track, when I left there. But, if I could go back, if I could do it all over again, man, I wouldn't change a thing because it helped me actually discover who the real Marcus Smith is.
Great, man. Marcus, I remember you as a guy who had a lot of adversity to deal with in Philly, but we're openly talked about it. You were a stand-up guy. People said you were a good teammate. I believe it. You seem like a nice person. I'm really happy for you to have found your way in life and to be able to talk about it with us. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
It's a really powerful story, and I really appreciate you sharing some of that.
Man, no problem. Thank you.
You got it. Why don't you tell everybody again the foundation, the name of it, where they can find more information about it?
So my foundation is the Circle of M Foundation. It's pretty much my circle, football, general population. I have a podcast. It's called the Circle of M. You can go look at it. I bring on different guests, NFL players to talk about their dealings with mental health and just life in general. I became a life coach, so I kind of like coach them through some of the things that they deal with. But you can find my foundation, the circleofm.com, and you can go look at all of the stuff. But our mission is to unmask the feelings that cause anxiety and depression. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, so what I like to do is be a bridge for guys. If you need life coaching, if you need therapy, if you need meditation, whatever it may be, if you just need somebody to talk to.
Right.
I'm here for you to be able to assist in you and you with your healing process.
Yeah. That's what guys need. They need professional athletes. They need people to reach out and say, this is okay. This is what I go through because this is human being. This is life.
Right.
Because then that'll help take the stigma away of saying, oh, well, now people think I'm mentally weak or I'm this or that.
I mean, you see it right now with Lane Johnson's battle of that.
Yes.
But see, at the same time, I want guys to not have to walk away. Right. I want them to go ahead and start early. Right. Because it's going to be times, while you're playing that you're going to go through that spurt of, you don't feel like it. You feel depressed. You feel like, the weight is all on your shoulders, right? So if we can get ahead of that, you don't have to necessarily walk away from the game. You can still have fun playing the game that you've been playing since you was 5. So that's the thing what we want to do.
Marcus, we really appreciate you stopping by. Have a great time this week.
Thank you, man.
Have a great
Appreciate it.
Yeah, please keep doing preaching your message and talking your talk. It's really important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Yeah. All right, that was former Eagles outside linebacker Marcus Smith, first round pick. Seems like yesterday for me, but it's quite a while ago. And obviously, Marcus doing his thing to spread that positive message here at Radio Row. It's been an unbelievable 3 days. We have talked to everybody from all around the league. I think we've broken this game down about as well as anybody can break the game down. And we've also kind of gone inside the story for some other people. We've had Jim McMahon on and Ryan Leaf and Marcus Smith kind of sharing their stories of their own personal travails. And it's been a great experience for Adam, for Andrew Checo, and I. So as we wind down here, I do want to remind you guys to make it an Eagles win either way this Super Bowl Sunday at Sin City Cabaret on Passyunk Avenue. It's Philly's premier hotspot. They're giving away an incredible 65-inch LED 4K TV. Anyone and everyone who comes out for their $5 beers and 2-in-1 bottles is eligible to snatch it up, claim the best seat in the house with the prettiest girls in town. It's a Super Bowl party like no other. And if you head over before halftime, admission is free. Sin City Cabaret, 6130 Passyunk Ave. It's a Philly thing. All right. Like I said, everything that we have done this week, it lives on our podcast platform. It lives on our YouTube channel. And as for Inside the Birds on Sunday, Inside the Birds pregame live will air in its normal time, 10 a.m. till noon on the East Coast. Of course, we'll be at Rivers Casino in Philadelphia. And later today, at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, which means 7 o'clock Eastern Time, Adam and I will do an Ask ITB live stream for our Patreon subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe at patreon.com/Inside the Birds. I want to thank Marcus Smith, thank TJ Houshmandzadeh, thank everybody who has stopped by today. Barrett Brooks, Matt Mayoko, and Zach Berman, all of our great guests today, did an unbelievable job. For Andrew Checo of InsideTheBirds.com, he'll have coverage on InsideTheBirds.com today and throughout the week, and he will be covering the Super Bowl for us. So make sure you're checking out InsideTheBirds.com. For Andrew Checo and Adam Caplan, I'm Geoff Mosher. You've been watching. Actually, I'm going to say goodbye now from Radio Row from Inside the Birds.